The Halloween franchise is going to make a return. We all know that. It's inevitable. But here's the thing. Could the next movie be a prequel to Halloween 78? Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? This is going to be a video where it's an interesting theory and strong possibility about where we're going to see the Halloween franchise go from here. Obviously, at the end of Halloween Ends, they leave it with no cliffhanger, no chance in hell that Michael's going to make a return. But we all know that the franchise will make a comeback. We all know that Michael Myers will make a comeback. It happened at the end of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. He was killed and he came back. It happened at the end of the original Halloween 2. So we know that Michael's going to make a comeback. But here's the thing. What if it is in the form of a prequel to Halloween 78? Now, this is coming from an article, and I have some particular thoughts on how this could actually work. Anyways, real quick, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps support the channel, and I'd appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the NIGHTWATCH Zone. It would really be amazing. Here's the thing, guys. We have an article from Screen Rant that literally talks about this possibility. It says Halloween's next movie being a prequel would fix 2 Halloween Ends problems. Now, I think it actually can fix a couple of problems, but let's see what they have to say about it. It talks about the Halloween franchise has had a seemingly endless deluge of sequels since the original 1978 film, but making the next film a prequel would fix 2 major problems with Halloween Ends. Although the future of the Halloween franchise is uncertain, with there being no current announcements about the next film, it seems inevitable that another Halloween movie will release eventually. Halloween has tried and failed to make interesting sequels time and time again, meaning that the next entry should make a change of pace by being a prequel to John Carpenter's original Halloween. Now, to be quite honest, I absolutely agree with this assessment because I think the interesting thing about this franchise is that it's a roller coaster. We have some really, really good movies in this franchise, but then we also have these movies in the franchise that just don't live up to its potential. And this has happened time and time again, all throughout the 80s, all throughout the 90s, all the way up into this new trilogy. So the thing I think that is always an obstacle for the filmmakers that are doing these movies is to try to do something that is fresh, but also something that still holds true to what a Halloween movie is. We've obviously seen David Gordon Green went into that same predicament, trying to do something fresh, but also something that still looks like a Halloween movie. Some people think he massively failed. Some people think he did a pretty good job, and others love it. Interesting stuff. This franchise is, if nothing else, this franchise is a roller coaster, and it's passionate. The article goes on to say Halloween Ends is the 3rd film in the Halloween reboot trilogy, which retconned the events of every other Halloween sequel out of existence. Halloween Ends made some significant changes to the franchise, with it introducing a new masked killer, hinting at a possible supernatural element, and finally killing off Michael Myers for good. Myers has been the main antagonist in nearly every Halloween film, meaning that it would be very difficult to make another installment without him. While this is a big problem for the Halloween franchise, its perfect solution already lies in a prequel to the original Halloween. Now, these are the parts that can be really, really amazing. Halloween's next movie being set in the 70s can recapture the original tone. One of the biggest problems with the Halloween reboot trilogy is the tone. The films are a lot goofier than the original 1978 film, and that's in no small part to the writing styles of comedians David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. Very, very true. There is definitely that comedy that they put into the films. I don't think it's as bad as some people feel, especially with 2018. I think that there was still a great mix of this dark and ominous atmosphere that was peppered throughout the film, especially with Michael ultimately escaping and then going on a rampage. And then, of course, his confrontation at the end with Laurie and her granddaughter and her daughter. So, this style that David Gordon Green had with these three films, I really didn't mind it, especially in 2018. Kills was a little bit of a different story, and then of course Ends, he went in a totally different direction. But I agree, if they set this film in the 70s and they have that type of aesthetic like they showed in Halloween Kills, the recreation scene I think was fantastic. And I believe that if they did something along those lines, it would be very well received by the audience and the fans. And the article goes on to say that the style and the goofier tone that David Gordon Green had could be fixed, making this new Halloween film, making the next Halloween movie a prequel means that it could be set in the 70s, much like the original film. It would be able to capture the gritty, isolated feeling of Halloween and other early slasher movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The prequel wouldn't have to worry about the problems of modern technology, with things like phones making horror movies difficult to write. A prequel could even use the same filmmaking style and techniques as the 1978 original movie, allowing the film to return to the original tone of Carpenter's Halloween. Now, here's the biggest part that I think the whole idea of a prequel could really, really work. And I mean, it's the elephant in the room, guys. A Halloween prequel can use Michael Myers without reviving him. Another major problem with Halloween's future after Halloween Ends is the Michael Myers storyline. While Michael has been killed off in previous Halloween movies, it has always been in vague ways that allow his return to remain possible. Halloween Ends, on the other hand, does nothing of the sort. The film sees Laurie Strode pin Michael down, slit his wrist, parade his corpse around town, and then throw his body into a junkyard trash compactor. There's no way to bring Michael Myers back in the Halloween Ends timeline, but he could come back in a prequel. Setting the next Halloween movie in the 70s means that Michael Myers would still be alive and active, allowing the film to avoid having to retcon the conclusion of Ends. While it would be difficult, it's entirely possible that a prequel could add in Michael Myers' killings that weren't seen in the original film. After all, Halloween Kills flashback scene already did this. It's possible that the next Halloween movie could simply reboot the timeline for the umpteenth time. A much better workaround for Michael Myers' demise is just make the next film a prequel. Here's the thing, and I've talked about this even leading up to Kills and also leading up to Ends. The thing of that trilogy that made it difficult to move on, it wasn't even the fact that they killed off Michael, but the fact that he was 60-something years old. Okay, that was going to eventually be a problem. Now, there's no disrespect to James Jude Courtney whatsoever. He was absolutely amazing. Every time he was on screen, it was money. But the bottom line is, moving forward, this timeline couldn't go on for very, very long. It just wouldn't work. So the biggest problem to me is that we need a young Michael Myers. We need a way for him to be young again. And if he's not going to be supernatural, if he's not going to be brought back from the dead like Jason was in Friday the 13th Part 6, you got to figure out a way for him to be young again. Now, a long time ago, I put out a video where we were talking about different ideas that were out there. And one of the ideas that I had that came to my mind when we were trying to figure out how things were going to go in Ends and so forth was the whole idea of the Dreamcatcher theory. Very wild, out there, crazy, but just saying, it was a way to not only bring Michael back, make him young again, but you literally could have picked up wherever you wanted to go. And it could have just worked right within the storyline of the movie to this. Now what we're thinking about is possibly going into a whole new timeline, doing a requel, following off of Halloween 4 with Jamie Lloyd, which I actually really do like, or doing a prequel to 1978's Halloween. Now, I do think that doing a prequel to 78's Halloween could be very, very interesting. because there's a lot that we did not get to see. As long as they don't over explain Michael, kind of like what Rob Zombie did in his Halloween movie from 2007. I don't want things to be over explained about Michael and why he's doing what he's doing and all that. I just want to see scenes where he's involved and you see him killing people. That's what I want to see. I don't want to get into his mind and have him talking and all that type of stuff. That's where you get into a lot of trouble. And the article also says a 1970s Halloween movie is better than another modern sequel. While Halloween Prequel will fix many of the problems with Halloween Ends in general, it would be a much better idea than another modern sequel. There have been so many modern Halloween sequels that it really is impossible to do anything new with it, and attempting it again would only be an exercise in futility. Instead, showing another one of Michael Myers' early killing sprees would allow for a much more unique story, tone, and feel. No matter how it's done, a Halloween prequel is almost certainly the best direction after Halloween Ends. And I do think that this could be an interesting direction that they could go. Here's my idea for it. This is what I think they could do. If they were to go a prequel route, we could literally have a lot of this movie taking place with Smith's Grove. We can have Tom Jones Jr. back in as Loomis, and they did the prosthetics, and obviously we had the voiceover. So this could be a movie where we literally see Michael at Smith's Grove. There could be situations that happen there. There could be an escape. He could escape from there and go somewhere else other than Haddonfield. Maybe he goes somewhere else in between Smith's Grove and Haddonfield on his way to Haddonfield. And of course, he gets stopped and apprehended again, or however they want to work it. There's a lot of ways that they can do it. I'm not really worried about that, but having Michael involved and finding a way to incorporate some type of escape or some type of situation where you obviously have, people that are going to be victims for him. I think that could be an interesting way that they go, because again, these are things that have never been talked about. So there's uncharted territory there. There's uncharted story that they can mine that's going to give you a very gritty tone. It's in the 70s. You have the same type of atmosphere and shooting style as 78. And I think that would be very, very well received by the fans. It's probably one of the best ideas for the next movie. I really do think so. I'm sticking with this, and also going with the Halloween 4 storyline. In other words, bringing Danielle Harris back. But let me know what you guys think about this idea. Do you think that Halloween coming back as a prequel to the original would be the way for them to go? And if it is, let me know if you have any particular ideas that you would like to see. If you don't think that this is a good idea, let me know. How do you think the franchise should come back? Because we definitely know it's going to come back. It might be a couple years, but Halloween is going to make a return. That's almost damn guaranteed. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and I'd appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, this is the time to do it. Do it. We're having fun. And yeah, I'll catch you guys soon. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.